Just gonna check my audio, make sure I'm properly live. Yes. All right, let's get into it. While nobody's here, I'm just gonna look up a bit of documentation on. Sheen Angel sent me something yesterday. Oh, I don't need this in my ear. I'm not monitoring my audio. I'll keep one in. On the scroll container. So I'll just open up that. I'm working on the item menu. Let's see. My whole game's not being shown here. Something I did in the stream. Yeah. What's being cut off? Give me a second. Oh, that's strange. Yeah, it's not showing the whole thing. Okay, well, I could worry about that later. Oh, you know what? It might just be because the side of the window didn't quite match up, although I'm still being cut off a bit. What do we got here? Okay, well, we're not missing a ton. If I show the game, yeah, it's still cut off. Okay. That's odd. I don't think it was like that before. Anyway, we were working on the item menu, and I didn't stream yesterday. I was able to do a little bit more of it. So we got this here. If I go below this, I've items that go below that menu. And there's a visible scroll bar, but it doesn't actually scroll. I just made it so that like this will loop and this will loop. So I made sort of like a grid version of my vertical and horizontal scrollers. So the buttons are going to need to be wider. They can accommodate more space. The whole style will change. The way they're like animated to indicate that they're selected will change because this button actually is from these, and they're not animated in the items menu. They're just showing and hiding. Styling can come later. Functionality, I want it to scroll. We can see here, styling it, I need to make it longer because, I mean, I made up these names last stream to just populate it with a list, but this summoning bell here, you can't have a name that's that long because it's crossing over with where the label for the number is. Also, don't think that some of these numbers are super readable. Like this X73 and X65, you might be able to read it, but it probably isn't comfortable on some readers' eyes. I like the font a lot, but it has issues. It may be replaced at some point. Some of the numbers hang down below the line. It's a bit strange. So a little hard to work with when you're trying to put it in a rectangular container. But if we can get that functionality down, the functionality of this is mostly done. I need to disable these ones that are not filled, and then the functionality of this is actually all done, I guess. It depends on if I want to animate it more. I'm going to replace that arrow with something a little flashier, but whether it's an animation or just a nicer sprite and that is more thematic, then that remains to be seen. And then the attack menu, doing a basic attack. Might put something more to like communicate, like text on screen that sort of communicates what you're doing. But other than that, the battle menus are coming along pretty good. Oh, and then the clock here is already functional, but I'm going to change it and make it flashier. Although that's more polished. So like I'm more worried about the functionality of the items menu right now. No one's here. I'm gonna quick grab my tea. I left it in another room. Put the headphone back in the case. Okay, so let me disable this view for a minute. Could be that maybe this was not fit to screen. Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay, now we can see the whole game screen. That's better. But I will disable it for now. We were in the item menu. So these scroll containers, it says that they give you a scroll bar when needed. So because the list is longer than what it actually fits, so it fits 6 rows of buttons here, it'll give me a vertical scroll bar, but I can't seem to access it. But what I've noticed is, I'm opening the items menu in the game. And then if I go to the remote view here, the battle UI, player control panel, items, scroll container, now it does have a scroller. So I can access it directly, actually. Like I can just drag and drop a reference to that in my script. But what I don't know is if it maybe isn't always there. Right? So I'm not sure if that's the best way. I thought I saw something about being able to share the progress of one scroller with the next, or with like a custom one that I make. And then the custom one is more easy to control directly, changes graphics, and like fine tune its steps, because I wanted to go a full button at a time and not be caught in between. So let's see. Hi, Machine Angels. I'm just still working on that item menu from yesterday, so I got this going where it'll pop in and pop out, and that'll scroll through. I've got more options on than it fits, and I'm still just looking at how to figure out manipulating the scroll bars themselves. So like those scroll containers, if you remember, they offer scroll bars whenever they're active or whenever they're needed. And then what I found was, even though I can't seem to, in my local, if you go to the inspector of a scroll container, I don't see the actual scroll. Oh wait. Oh no, maybe it is. But what I did notice is that if you want to directly access the scroller, it's in your remote. So like, this is what's actually running in the game, the scene tree, not what you've set up in your engine, but it's like what's currently running. So if you initialize a node, it'll pop up here, and then the vertical scroller bar is there when you look at it. So I don't know if like accessing, like if I drag this to my code, you can access it by this string. So I'm sure you can manipulate it through code, but if I wanted to manipulate it through the inspector, it doesn't seem to be there, but does end up in the node tree. I just don't know if like it deletes itself when it's not needed or if it's just hidden. Because that could cause issues. What are you up to today? Yeah, I still need to look at some of the documentation. And I have opened what you sent me. I just worked on the animation for sliding the window in last night when I wasn't streaming, and then left that for this. But I do see this right here. So if I add like 100 pixels of scroll, oh wait, 70 is out of bounds. 70 pixels? What's this? Okay, what's 35? Set scroll vertical. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, no. Now that I have it set up, I guess I can just scroll through it. I can't, it seemed to access the scroll bar directly, but the container still has a scroll value. So that seems easy to set. I guess if I want to customize it, then I could just, I could just make another scroll bar and texture that. But this can be set. Why is 70 the index P column 70 is out of bounds? Okay, that's not 70 pixels though. Oh, maybe that message wasn't for. Right, okay. Okay, so yeah, it's in terms of pixels. I'm gonna have to do the math to figure out like how many pixels it's going down. And you don't want it to scroll. I want it to do like a button at a time. So when it hits the bottom and you keep going down, then it'll like add another button and take away the top layer so that you're seeing full options instead of being stuck halfway between. But that shouldn't be too hard. What's my max? I guess if I pick a really big number, it just hits the bottom. Oh, the chat's covering it. I just set it to 1,000. Let's move that over. Yeah, okay. So it looks like it's bounded by, you set a really high number and it just goes to the max. All right, so the up and down controls, we'll just make it scroll. Comment here. Oh yeah, you changed the direction of your game. That happens. Yep. Iterative. Cool. I did play a little bit of Gravity's Brutal, but I also did a total reset of my PC because I have a like newer MacBook and then I have an older PC, and I downloaded. I played the first few levels of Gravity's Brutal. Pretty fun. The movement is pretty fun to swing around, and I like swinging around, like doing the gun that you can like push yourself back and like just flying all over the place and trying to shoot. I just played a few levels, and then my computer was slowing down because it's an older PC, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing a full refresh on it. So I'll put, now that I have it done, I'm gonna play more of it. But from what I played, it was pretty fun. Just gonna see if when I set the vertical scrolling, the number of pixels, if that corresponds to the number of pixels high that those buttons are, which it should be. How tall is this? 45 pixels? Okay. So if I go back to the battle scene, and go here. Okay. Right. Okay, so 45 pixels. Oh, well, not quite, because there's a pixel gap between them. Maybe a pixel or two gap. I'm gonna have to adjust that because I don't know exactly how much. Like once I resize the buttons and maybe put a little extra spacing between them, if it will be 45. But basically, yeah, the height of that row. Okay, so like 90. I should cut off the antidote. Yeah, okay. So there's a few pixels hanging right here, but right. So I can just directly set that, and then that's easy. Yeah. Just gonna want to make sure that well, it'll, I guess that box will just have to have like the number of rows that it yeah, that's cool. See you around. See you later. Oh, I was a bit late today. I mentioned I went to the vet today. I got the scars to prove it. So I was a little late today. I'll tell you about it after you get back. Okay. What am I doing? Okay, if I go to remote and then I look at what properties this actually has. Okay. Well, do these scroll bar? Where's the texture? They got textures? It's probably just in theme, right? Theme override. Oh, icon increment. Yeah. Guess it wouldn't be that hard to. If all I want is a custom scroll bar, I could have the scroll container hide the scroll bar, and then all I really need is like if I do a sprite with like a vertical thing and then a button, and then just set its Y value to be the right thing. That's good. I think before I worry about customizing it, I'll just probably set it in code that it increases by that step once it's at the bottom. So I think we'll want the scroll container itself to have a certain number of well, it should know how many rows I want visible. And then only scroll if it's like past that. Oh wait, did I already have? Why did it look like I didn't have a script on that initially? What did I do? No, wait. item scroll container. I had a script for that. Did I detach it? Or what do I want? The item grid has I make that script and then not want it for some reason. Because because it generates automatically the name, and then I guess I made one a while back, but I can't remember what was in it. Because I have the item grid. Oh, because I had it up here and then I moved it down here, and I didn't actually want the selector there. Right. This should be its own thing. Right, so I want it to store how many rows I want actually visible. Then we can do some math based on that. Oh, that's not a Boolean. Probably automatically get the height of the row. So that would be, we have a separation. Oh, this has a separation. What's the best way to access that? Check something here. Okay. I'll replace that later. And then so it's the V separation plus the height of a single item cycler button. But maybe I can just access the first child. But we'll just plug it in for now. So 45. Okay. And then we'll change it. $48 plus $45. I guess we'll control it. Let me just take a look at the battle scene. So we have that right there, and then this extends grid cycler menu, and it's going to react to our button inputs, but we could just also have this react to our button inputs. And might have to force it to the top and select 0 when you go back into it, but we'll see. We'll just treat it like a V cycler because we're only going to do scrolling on up and down inputs. Don't need that. Because we'll only do that if this items menu is active. Okay. We'll react to up and down. This selection already happened. But all we need to do is change the vertical, right? So let's see. And then we'll test that and we'll just make it like conditional on. How come I can't access that? Is it because of the theme override? No, it shouldn't be. Do you just access with a string like that? No. that. Okay. Um, I don't know if that even works. I'm not even quite sure what set deferred is. Let's reset the battle and maybe it will work, but I just found that code in the documentation. I don't think it's what I want to do. I think that was only because it was in the ready function in the example that they gave. Oh, that crashed. Get invalid get index active on items menu. Does this not? It should. Battle menu. Oh, is active. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's reset my view here for the game. And we're back. But input. Oh, there we go. I don't think the set deferred thing actually matters. So I probably shouldn't do it that way. Oh, scroll container. Okay, it needs these. Which is just like a consequence of a bad decision I made a while back. All right. So the separation here is probably just 48 because I think it's just the 45 that's the height of the button plus the 3 pixels. Something's going wrong. Because right now I'm just trying to like scroll by that row unconditionally, and then I'll just do it if it's like greater than the number of rows, which is 6. Invalid operand string and int. Yeah, no, I figured I couldn't use that scroll vertical. It's just a... yeah, see, it says here it's not declared. Okay. All right. Well, set v scroll is just... I guess it just functions for that. Okay. No, it's not. Maybe that's because I need to actually have it extend scroll container. Ah, there we go. Now it has the methods. Perfect. I can just write them on Discord. To me. Yeah, no. Okay. Oh right, I need to change the title of the stream. Okay. Okay, now that it extends scroll container, here I'll just hide this because it's not running. It also has get scroll v scroll, so I would just this should probably work. Okay. Right. I'm gonna go in here. This is an area I actually like started making. The other outside was just a dummy area, but I mean, there's not much to it, but let's see what we got now. Oh, okay, perfect. Right. This actually tabs through. The only thing I want to change is to make it conditional on only doing it if you're greater than going up actually works kind of nice. Well, yeah, you only want to do it if you're like going past, I guess, in either direction. So you're changing it if you your selected index is at the bottom or if it's at the top of your visible window. But it goes down by a full button at a time. The only thing is, it looked like there was a bit of a bug right at the last one. If I hit again, it's slightly shifted up by a few pixels. And same in the opposite direction. So it must be like slightly misaligned. But that's a lot better than we were doing. Can't seem to see the selector anymore. I don't know, where did that go? Oh, okay. Guess we can lose track of it. Yeah, because you want to overflow. If you go to the top and then you press up again, you're gonna want to like flip back to the bottom, and the selector does, but it's not changing properly. So there's a few like conditional ones that I want to do. All right. This has a selected index. These are just going to be like edge cases that are like custom behavior. 0 or 1, so I guess it's less than or equal to 1. Then we're going to set the V scroll to like some big value. Okay. Hello. The item grid should have a selected index. Did I spell it wrong though? Selected index. Oh, it's a I shouldn't have put it a function. That's why. Okay, let's reload that again because it crashed because of that. Getting into a battle. Just some edge cases on the way that I want scrolling to work because I'm not just like setting it to like the same fraction of the scrolling as the fraction of like how far you are through the items is. It's like I only want to go down when you need to. Like if there's 6 rows and you go past the 6th row, then I want you to scroll. If you're going up and you're at the top row, then I want to just scroll back down to the bottom. So we're gonna put it in those edge cases. Not getting a random battle. All right. Let's see. Okay, so that works. Oh, somebody just followed. Who is that? Tyson's. Thank you. Thank you so much. I also got my follower goal of 10 followers. So that's pretty good. Thank you so much. Yep. Yep. That's pretty good. Thank you. So it seems I do scroll to the bottom here. I need to check if were those I put ooh, yeah, no, the last 2 items I put in as dummy items were bottle rocket and crystal. And that's not what I'm actually seeing at the bottom because I'm losing that I can go farther than this. So it's not accommodating the whole thing, which it should. I have to figure that out. There's a couple row. Actually, how far is baseball bat? Okay, it is the previous row. But okay, it's like it should be like going to that, but then it's hiding the row I'm actually on. So that's why we're losing it. If I go to like the bottom and then it's going up one row at a time, then it's fine. But if you go down below and then it's going in one row at a time, then it's below until you get back. So that needs to be fixed. I don't know why it's not showing. Like if I scroll all the way to the bottom of my scroll wheel, but it's not showing the last row. Not really sure why that is. Let's put again a bunch of fake item buttons in here. So that should be how many we actually can see. And then I put another one and then you get a scroller. And then this. Yeah, it's like it's not accommodating a last row if there is one. It's a bit strange. Is it because it only scrolls to the beginning, like the corner of the button is 0, 0, and then it scrolls until that top element? Probably. Okay. I mean, a sloppy solution could just be adding padding at the bottom, like adding some fake buttons. But I don't think that's what we want to do. There's got to be a way to have it filled with the entire size of the button. What did I do? So I undid setting the anchors preset in the layout mode. Oh, it moved? Oh, shit. That's not what I wanted. So I might have to do something with these. Maybe if I change the anchors. I'm not, honestly, I should be more sure of how these work, but you know. So let's see. Yeah, it can't fit the whole thing. That's not what I want. I should probably not screw with those anchors. Just getting everything to like scale properly has been fine if I just put the anchors up in the top left corner, seems like, but yeah, UI is very, very frustrating. That's why I'm doing it, because I'm like, I know if I can get through this and make it all functional, then like when I can just create abilities and creature types and different content and design dungeon, I'll be like on a rip. Every time I figure out some type of thing, a lot of the time I'm like, am I gonna regret this later? Is this gonna be like, is this the wrong way to do it? Um, because right now what I'm thinking is like, why don't I just put two like invisible fake buttons at the bottom? But I feel like that would have consequences that I would possibly regret. Actually, yeah, I would need to like put them in and then have them not be treated as like children of this grid in the same way that the other buttons are, and then that's like code that's like a weird spaghetti workaround. And I'm thinking the best way is just to like figure out what I'm actually doing wrong and not do things like that. Okay, well, there is like some other code stuff that I need to work on too. So setting that scroll to the bottom if you're at the top is fine. But there's an analogous one where when I'm at the bottom, I gotta scroll all the way to the top, which is, well, all this got shoved into the corner here in the game. I fixed it, but it didn't reload. So we'll just launch that again. So then there's times when we're going to want to set it to 0 when we go down, which is when the selected index is, I guess, within 2 of the bottom. So so the length of its children is what we're comparing to. And then it would be when it's greater than a certain amount. Okay, so if you're on the last row and it's like 15 and 16, well, the indexes would be, that would mean you have 17 children because the indexes would be 15 and 16. So it's the number of children minus 2. Oh, this selected index, right? Okay. Item grid dot selected index. Right? I'm doing so much UI stuff, I should really just set these random encounters to be like 100%. The player camera is kind of like the just the whole player controller, really. I'll just show you how I got it set up. Oh, that's not the theme. This is the battle theme. So I have the random encounter code in there because it's like when it moves, it just rolls. And this is the player. There's no model or anything. It's you got your camera that pink lines in there, and then I have all these sensors. Essentially, are boxes that detect different things. So the box up in the top is like your upper body, and then you have your lower body because you're 2 blocks tall. Like imagine Minecraft. Like you're about 2 blocks. Everything is blocks tall, and then each direction you have 2 blocks, and then you have one below which can detect if there's no block there after you've moved, then you can fall. And that's because I'll do a little demo here. I was gonna change the code to 100%, but encounter rate, but I can't walk around if I do that. I want the game to have a bit of verticality because like a lot of games, like you might just be walking around a dungeon like flat like this, but and it's like I can have multiple floors. Oh wait, I didn't show. Oh, what? Okay, never mind. It just crashed. Uh, I didn't do anything in the game. I made it visible in OBS and then it crashed. I'm going to fix that. Give me a minute. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened there because I didn't do anything game related. Okay, so here's like I've made the start of a little dungeon theoretically. Oh, what the heck? Oh wait. Oh, okay. I accidentally typed a W on this line for some reason because I think I was still in the code editor. Sorry, it did crash again. I figured out why. I typed a W in the code editor um, because I pressed the forward button W in the game, but I was still in the code, and I guess it must have auto saved or something. All right, we will get this done. The demo of why I have the camera set up that way. Okay, so we have verticality, we have stairs, like you can walk up them. The sensor below the camera is for detecting once I walk off this ledge, then it'll say there's no block there, and then you fall. Oh my God. Why am I still typing in here? What the hell? Okay, let me just. This will be easier if I go into the 3D view because I can't type. That's so annoying. Godot, and it keeps happening in Godot where I'm like, I launched the game, and then I'm just demoing it or whatever, and then I'm just typing, and then it's updating, and then running that code as if I didn't even save it. It just Sorry, that took a minute, but I shouldn't be typing now because I'm not in a code window. Yeah, the thing about being the body 2 blocks tall as well. Oh, moving smoothly on this is like, well, I have to have sensors in front. Because if I walk into a wall, like when it's grid movement, it's not like a game where you press the control stick and then you slide forward until you hit something. It's what the, oh my god, like I don't know what, it put me back here. Okay. Anyway, yeah, what you want to do, I'm not going to do that again. It's like too annoying. Um, you can, you want to be able to tell that there's something in front of you before you move, because I don't want to move like the character isn't like a perfect box that like can't slide forward anymore when it hits a wall, because I feel like that could be buggy and you could have like just like physics errors or whatever, like floats that aren't like perfectly like, if you're on cell 1 and you move and you go to cell 2, like it needs to be precisely that. So I was like, I'll put sensors in front of the camera, and then if it's in a block that is blocked, like it's a wall, then it won't allow you to move. And then there's a sensor below the camera for falling. Some of these have to do with stairs, and the reason it's 2, I can deactivate this whole thing, or I can deactivate the top layer of it when you're crouching, so you can actually like crouch and go under things. And that way, like the top layer of sensors turn off. Just gonna check. Here, I actually have to, I was going to go back into a battle, but I have to, so I have to load up the capture anyway. I just hope this doesn't do what it just was doing, but yeah, you can like strafe left and right, which is why I have to have like on the side boxes too, and then you can crouch. And I'm hoping that I can like add hidden areas like that. Well, I thought it was like UI code I was just working on, but it was like when it crashed, I was like, it just showed on a line that had nothing to do with that I had typed a W like right at the beginning of the indent, because I was still somehow typing. And anyway, because I was moving around with the WASD keys, and then it ended up, well, okay. No, yeah. It's okay. It's only doing, I think it's doing it when I specifically am loading into a random encounter. That's why I wouldn't be doing it every time. It could just happen again. Okay, so the grid cycler menu. Yeah. Variable description. Get child. What are we in? Grid extend grid cycler menu. So we're on item grid. Okay, so it's, they don't have a description because the entry is nil. But then which one is it trying to access? Oh, wait, is it because, you know what? It's because I put, I think, these like dummy buttons to test out the sizing of it. It's trying to, I believe, initialize the like real items that are in my inventory, and then it also has the like fake buttons that I put there, and they probably don't have their description set. Yeah, because okay, so no, they should have a default. I'm gonna launch this without setting it all up to show it and just see if that happens again. And if I go into a random battle, then it's correct. But I think it is an issue because I put fake buttons there to test the side. Yeah. Well, they have like a cleanup function, but I think that's only like when you delete or exit out of it the first time. Like if you populated it and then closed out of it, then it would delete them. But if I put some in the editor, then it isn't doing that. But yeah, just deleting them on startup helps if you want to keep that around for testing. I believe I fixed it because I'm in a battle. Right here. Yeah. So that's what it was. It was all those buttons that were there. Oh, okay, crashed again. This one does not. Oh my god, that's why. That's a function. Yeah. UI code is very crashy. Well, there's just so many things where I'm like, the easiest one to just crash is just index out of range, and there's a lot of indices in a UI. Okay. Right. So yeah, I was going to the top here, and then it goes down to the bottom, although there's a row not showing. But then when I go down to the bottom, it should pop up to the top already, because that's what I've done. Like the selector is, but the scroll bar is not. So I had, if the action is just pressed, is down, and we're active, if the selected grid is greater than the length of its children minus 2, then we should just set scroll to 0. Let me see just that this function works. Like I'll just do it anytime I press down. Oh. Not in there. Oh, crashing again. It's like live updating the code essentially. I thought it only did that if I saved, but it's like because I put a line here between the if and the else, that just crashed the game. But I'm hoping this works. Okay. So what it's doing now with this works. It's just keeping it at 0 every time I press down, which is what I wanted, but this condition's not being met. So the selected index, I guess, okay, so I'll print the selected index. I already am printing something. Oh, you know what? I think I'm already printing it right there. So let's check that out. Oh yeah, greater than or equal to. Yeah, you're right. Because I said if you had 17 children, then the last index or the earliest index you want to be able to do that on is 15. Did I even try it? It would have worked then if I did it in the right column, because then I would have had 16. But I don't know if I even did. I tab over to the right column to test that. Yeah, it works. Thank you. That worked. So yeah, if you go to the top and you go up, then it goes to the bottom, and if you go down, it goes back to the top. Now keep in mind that there's still that missing row, so there's a selector like down here that we're not seeing because I don't know, it's not accommodating that last button, but we go back to the top. So the other thing I wanted to do is, this is like every time I press down or up, it's scrolling. But I want to make it conditional on if you press down and it's like below. Yeah, how do you do that? Okay, so if you're on this first page, you want to do it if your index is below 11, like the 12th element. But then that if you are on the 14th element already, then you want to scroll if you're past that, but only if the like scroll value corresponds to a certain amount, because like the range has to do with your current scroll value. So I don't know if that's gonna come out as a float. I'm gonna have to print in either case get v scroll. Yeah. So like let me just move this up here. Might be better for now. Because in the console here, like, okay, I have a few things printing. Oh. When I go down here, this top number right here, 48, that is the V scroll amount. And I'm going up by 48 specifically because that's a number that I put in there. So I need to take that out as like, at least set it a constant for now. I can calculate it, but or well, I'll just put it as height of row. I'll just call height of row, and then the calculation can change if I want to grab it from, like, if I resize the button or whatever. But yeah, so the range, if the current scroll is 0, then the range of elements would be like 0 to 11. Oh, and then if it's 48, so like this is doing it to 48 now, but I would only want to do it if I was like on the 6th row and then going to the 7th. But if the scroll bar is already at 48, then your range would be 2 to 13. Well, yeah, so right now I'm always scrolling by 48, but what that's doing is like, so I go down to the 2nd row and that selector is always at the top. But what I was thinking it would do is like you press down and it like goes down this list until it's the bottom row and then you can show the next row. But what it's doing right now is always keeping this at the top until you hit the bottom of the scroll bar and then it's going down. Which like I just find like this paging down is a little bit awkward. Whereas like it's almost like it should go to the bottom and then reach into the next one, or like only reach like going up to like right here, because when I do here I go up and it pages up by 48 pixels, but then that selector's staying up at the bottom, whereas I would only want to page up once I'm up here and then do it. It'll move that, and even like if it's in the middle, right? Like if I stop in the middle here and then I go up and down. Yeah. Got an idea? Sure. Might have to write a function for that. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but yep, just a second there. I'll rename that function in a second just so it compiles. But yeah, so when I go down, this selector staying up in the corner. When this scroll wheel hits the bottom, then the selector can keep going without scrolling any further. If I go up, though, now it will stay at the bottom of this corner and then only visibly move once you hit the end of that scroll bar, and then it keeps cycling through these. But if I stop it in the middle, so like I go down, or not all the way down to here, and then I start going up, then it stays here too. Because it's always, every time I press up and down, it's paging down and putting the selector up to the next one. But I'm thinking if I, so the value of the V scroll is literally in the number of pixels, which is the height of the row. So if I divide it by that many, then I know how many excluded rows there are at the top. And then the range would be that times 2. Like the low range would be 0, and then the high plus 2 times that number. Would I want to keep the scroll always at the center unless I'm at the top of the or the bottom? Not really. I'm thinking of like from this first page. Let's see, let's get to the first page. If I'm pressing up or down, I want to be able to navigate all around this without changing the view at all until I get to the bottom, and then I go down one more, then the view like shifts up to get to that next row. But anytime like you're within the window, it shouldn't move. No, just by 1. So like once you get to the 7th row, it'll shift by 1, but anytime you're moving within that window, it should stay. Not so much like like a new tab is in like full pages of 12 items. No, I'm thinking you do get the extra row and just shift one row down, but like only when you need it. So the high end would be 11 more than the low end. Let's just try this. And then let's try this. Oh. Okay, so that crashed, but no, I'm not sure why. Might need to cast that to an int. Yeah, yep. That's what I'm. It just crashed, but that's what I'm trying to do. Where like, you got the range low end and the range high end, and that depends on what. It doesn't depend on like the selected index you're already at. It depends on like where the scroll wheel or scroll bar already is, because it would be like the window that you're in. So we can get that from like the number of excluded rows we have, based on like the scroll value. And then only if you're outside of that, then you scroll. Let me see here. I think the logic is sound, but I have a bug. Yeah. Yep. So why is the number of excluded rows nil? Can't remember. Godot doesn't force item or data types, so I can't remember how to declare the return value or the data type of the return value. not all code paths return. Oh, I didn't return it. Oh my god. Okay. I don't even need to do that. You are right, but I wasn't returning it anyway. If I returned it and it was an integer, it would have been fine. I wrote all these functions quickly and then did not return anything. Okay, that should be okay. There might be a little, like a one-off error or something if I didn't do the math right, but let's see. I'm at least confident enough to reset this window. It's a bit of a pain if I do it and then it just crashes and you don't get to see anything, but all right. Not quite. That doesn't even make sense. I'm gonna have to print these values. Let's see. I don't think. I want to get rid of a print that I had here. I don't want it to be doing this anymore. Can't remember where I did that. Maybe in the grid. Maybe in the grid cycler menu. Okay, so here the number of excluded rows is 0. Here it's still 0. Now there's 1 because we don't see it. And then where did we have 0? The indices were 0 to 11, which should be correct, and then 2 to 13 if we're excluding one row. So those are reporting back correctly. I think it's just the logic of when we move up and down that was not right, because yeah, if we're excluding 3 rows, we're excluding elements 0 to 5, and then the range should be 6 to 17. This all seems correct. What's the lowest? I guess the most we can do is exclude 3 rows, and then everywhere on this page it stays the same. Okay, so if action is just pressed up and we're less than 1, you can set the scroll to the max. Honestly, could do I want to risk that it's more than 1,000? I should probably set that. But anyway, if it's I'm probably doing it before. Like the item grid is setting the index, and then this is checking the index. So I probably have a race condition. So what I should probably do is just overwrite the process in the item grid instead. Go through these like movements. That's where the selected index is set, and then we can reach up to the parent to just adjust that. That would probably be the better way to do it. We'll have to do it here and then like reach up to the container and then get those methods and things. So that's how I'll reference the parent. These are all methods of the parent now. But then I don't have to reference item grid this way because this is the item grid. This. That might work. Oh, well, we had a crash, but it looked like it worked for a second. Invalid operands, int. What is that? Am I checking the 0 index for like looping back around or what? Oh, this was the issue, I think. I just had a typo there. The 0 index here would be like, oh, so if I press up and if I have the 0, if the selected index is 0 or 1, because they're side by side, so that would be less than or equal to 1, then it is doing this thing where it's looping back to the bottom. And then like left and right is handled by well, like the superclass of grid container has the way it selects index is that's handled where it loops back around. But that's more for like anything I want to put in a grid generally. So I have code in there that's it's going left and right, like increments by 1, but then like mods it to back to the beginning of the row, and then up and down and like mods by the size of the row, and then does the same thing. It's just this is like specific behavior to the scrolling, but the selector should work correctly. Okay, I think I almost got it. I think after I do, well, most of the function of the UI, it's going to need a big refactor just to make everything more simple. I actually like the way a lot of the game logic and like battle logic and calculations are organized, but the UI, I do not like how it's organized. Okay, part of this works. Okay, so it appears that if I am going up, it's the way I want. It loops back, and then it seems I can go within the window anywhere I want. And when I'm going up, then I'm starting to go to that next page. But when I go down, let's go to the top, it is tabbing down with every down press. So there's something I didn't do right there. Yep. Let's see. When I go up, what was the condition? If the selected index is less than the range low end. Oh, okay. Less than the range high end, or greater than the range high end. I apparently copied that without changing which method I was actually calling. So, in this case, okay, there's still the awkwardness of that last row that I can't see, so it doesn't look like it's right when I get to that bottom, but this is what I wanted. Well, when I loop back around to that last row, it looks really bad. But yeah, anywhere you move within the... Wait a minute. That's not right. It looked like when I'm on the index 1, it was looping back around, or when I was on the index, I think on the second row. So maybe there is a one-off error. But basically, being able to move around and select within this window, and then when you need to go up a page, you do. This is probably greater than or equal to because it's like after the... Wait, okay, so the... In Super, the selected index is changed. So you press up, and the selected index is already changed. Yeah, for the most part. I think I've got a one-off error, but I'm wondering if I have to await. No, I don't. It should run through everything and then I'm worried if like calling the super function is having issues where I'm trying to say is action just pressed like twice. Selected index. Well, it would be for 0 and 1, right? Because in two columns, I have index like this would be index 0 and this would be index 1. So in either case, if I press up, I want to go up to the next row. Or scroll up to the bottom. But it's like I'm skipping over the top row when I'm going up. It's like I'm skipping over the bottom row too. But these else statement, what I'm not even thinking of this through very closely, but the top row should be like potion and super potion. Those are the first two items I put in. Or mega potion. Okay, now I'm seeing them, but it's... scrolling right away. I think it's doing something out of order. I'm wondering if the selected index is still working properly. So like here, even though I'm like skipping the scroll, it should be going back to 0 anyway. And then the last row and then to here. Yeah, okay. So I'm like scrolling all the way down, but it is still the selector on that first row at the top. Oh, the range low end actually is... So let's say your window is 0 to 1. The low end is not 0, it's 1, because you want to be able to tab up if you're 1 also. So that needs to be changed. And then the high end, it's not 11, it's 10, because if you're on index 10, you also want to go down. Okay, the down direction seems to work. Except for that missing row. Well, it's like an invisible row and it's still there. Well, no, it's not, because it's immediately going. Which it shouldn't. Like, that is not the last row. It goes to the last row, and then it goes here. But it skipped up immediately. But still, like, within the page, that seems to work better than it was. Okay, that... Now, that just fixed, like, an incongruent thing between the left and right column. Because it's actually, like, a step inner of where you would think the range would be. Like, the range of elements is a certain thing, but then the range of where you want to actually tab up is, like... See you later, Machine Angels. I know I'm not streaming tomorrow for sure, and I usually don't do weekends. I might be able to sneak one occasionally. And actually, I thought I wasn't going to be able to today for a second there, but I might be able to pull some off on weekends if I want to try starting that. But plan so far is for Monday. Yep. Yeah. Hope you're able to another time, but have a good day. See ya. Thank you. All right. Well, it might be I need to call super at the end before changing index. Because I'm like doing the scrolling based on where I currently am. No. That isn't it. I mean, that gets me to the top row, but... Hmm. Oh, my brain's a little fried. I almost got it, but I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting a little foggy today. It'd be easier to see if I could see that last row, and I was going to solve that problem later. But that would be easier to see. That equal sign did what I wanted. Going down seems to be going off page. Oh no, well, only at the bottom where I don't have that last one. Did I figure it out? I might have figured it out. Oh no, but okay. On the left column. This is working perfectly, actually. This right column is working perfectly. Except for the missing row. Left is good when I'm going up, but then down it's like I get an extra row. So we need to figure that out. Yeah, okay, elements 0 to 11. If I hit down, if the selected index is greater than or equal to range high end. Let me just double check what that is. Oh, the range. Okay, so I changed the range low end. And added one. So me calling this and then changing this by one is probably the issue. So, okay, the range low end isn't 0, it's 1. So it's, and the range high end, I actually want it to be 10. Perfect. Oh, we did it. All right. Now I need to just figure out how to show that other row, and we're golden. We did it. Perfect. That's awesome. Show that last row, change the style, change those buttons, do some animations, and polish it all up. Yes. Okay. I'm glad that a lot of the, especially the worst code in the UI is, I don't want to talk too soon, largely not done. Working. Once I make a couple more menus look good, then it means that the game will be playable without it looking bad. And that's important because the more I need to play my game as I'm adding new stuff and showing it off, then I want it to look good to people who are watching. Because if it looks bad, then it looks bad. That's bad. Okay. Um, trying to think of whether I want to start off something else since no one's around. It was gonna be a short stream today anyway, but do I want to stretch it out and see if I can even figure out this problem of the missing row? I don't have to leave right away, but I could call it early and just, I mean, it's a 2 hour stream. It's not bad. Got a lot out of it. We finished that menu. Had a good chat. Let me see. Let me see what I can find online for this. Last row of, okay, somebody else had this problem on Reddit. Last row of items in scroll container not showing. Add rect min size to the control nodes inside the grid container. Okay. Okay. Okay, that spread them all out. But that's probably because I added spacing. I know the item grid has separation. Let's just say 5 pixels of separation. And then we'll change that scrolling to be 50. Oh, that's not what we want. Let's go on this menu. Oh, where are we here? Want to add a bunch to this grid. Okay. See if that helps. I don't know why it was in the editor showing it like evenly spaced apart, but then I was adding more space in the actual game. Not exactly sure why, but it might just be because it was already loaded and tried to do some weird stuff. Oh. Oh, right. Okay, we don't want those buttons in by default again. We'll check that out. I'm gonna have to adjust things based on the size of it, but it's okay. I need to really get like magic numbers out of my code so I don't have to like tweak stuff like that, but sometimes in testing it's like I just slap whatever the value I need is in and I'm like tweaking it to be exactly like customized to how I want it, but yeah. Oh, I did it. All right, we can see the last row. There's just one small thing to change because I changed the separation of these things that the scroll container size was, let's see, it was 6 rows times 45, or there was 50. So actually this just needs to be 300. And it appears, let me just switch that. Turn my game back on. And show it. Here, I'll show game. I put a little bit of extra spacing between the buttons, and now we can see those last two. These are the last two that I put in. All the buttons stay in the same place. The scroll bar goes precisely where I want it. That button is not showing. Oh. Okay, it's not perfect. Now the buttons are actually shifting in place a little bit. So it's something to do with the value of the scroll bar, I believe. Where that button is going off. If I come from the top, it's like staying even. Once I hit that bottom row, it's like the value of the scroll bar is wrong. I'm gonna lower it a bit too. Yeah. Okay. I'll just put this in process. I misspelled print and then it crashed the game. So that's super fun. Is it not here? Oh, I didn't launch the game yet. Okay. All right. I'm just going to have it print the value of the scroll bar, and it should go up in increments of 50. And if it doesn't do that, then it's incorrect. Here, we'll move this over here because I'm going to be looking at the console window. Okay, so right now it's 0. Down should be 50, 100, 150. It's going to 190. Why is that? Okay, so when I hit down, okay, I guess it's adding 45 because there's no spacing. And it actually doesn't even have the room for that. It's adding this height of the button, but not the spacing. So in that case, I guess maybe the button should just be 50 if I want the spacing. Yeah, why not? All right. Feels a little strange, but I guess I'll just have no separation. Yeah, I mean, that seems to work. Yeah, now it goes to 200. And that's perfect. The behavior is exactly what I wanted. Okay. I think that's probably a good time to call the stream if I started working on something else. And no one's here right now, then I don't even know what I want to do next, but this is I'm very happy. They're not here right now, but if you catch it on the VOD, thank you again to Machine Angels. They helped me with a few pieces of code there, and every menu works. Well, I need to change something here, but yeah, I can switch out party members. Oh, no, okay, you know what? The rogue doesn't have a portrait yet, but I do need to put in code that makes it swap the portrait if they did. So that is another thing. The items menu works. I mean, a bunch of these items are not implemented, or maybe they are because they're a copy of a potion. This might just crash if I try to use it. Yeah, it acts as if it's a potion because I just copied them. Skills work for the ones that are implemented. Oh, I want these skills to be at the top, and then attacking is normal. It works. I need to fix a few bugs with when menus turn on and off, and so this battle UI will have a thing that shows whenever you are targeting your own and multiple party members. There needs to be a UI for that, but the menus are pretty functional, and that's really good. And maybe I can work on styling next time. The items menu, finishing that off. I think it should be pretty easy to... I've got other things, like I said, that I wanted to tweak, but the items menu is pretty done. like the items work. So, well, there's the issue of when you have items that target multiple people. There's something I need to do for that, where you're seeing all your party members and having it applied and triggering some kind of animation. But pretty good. Shouldn't take too long now for me to start working on just adding skills. The next thing would be, I guess, and I get to do more like character animations because it's going to be the minions, like these snakes. I'm going to add more of those because a lot of the skills will be dependent on that. You're going to need to have, they're essentially, each one is like a gameplay mechanic. So they need to be in there, just like status effects and buffs need to be in there before I can really start like building them out into more skills. Because they're kind of building blocks. And well, that whole process will take me a while. So that'll be the next stretch. Stream's done. Thank you. Catch me next time. And if you're seeing this on the VOD, thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time.